So, aside from those signs and symptoms, diba, so that we get to understand more depression. Kasi hanggang ngayon, kahit na 2021 na, marami pa ring myths and misconceptions about it. So, Manang Ari, can you help us dig deeper into these myths?
Okay, some of the myths of depression. The first one is that having depression or mental disorder is a spiritual crisis. Madalas mangyari sa akin to yung mga tao na may kakilala sa akin or yung mga kaibigan ni Raquel na sinasabi sa akin, Ari, magdasal ka lang and things will get better. Hindi ko lang masabi sa kanila diretso, magdasal. When I wake up in the morning, I pray. I pray before and after meals. I pray the rosary. I pray the novena. The evening with family prays. Kulang pa yun? Is that enough? I hear Mass regularly on Sundays. I hear traditional Mass. Traditional Latin Mass. Yung katalikod, pare. Everybody's properly dressed. Bell receive communion in the tongue. Is that not enough? Isn't my faith strong enough? Kulang pa ba yung pananampalataya ko? When you tell us that we have to pray and have faith, makes us feel like we're sinners. Ano pa yung kasalanan namin? Pinapasahan ba kami ng Diyos? Kaya ganito yung sitwasyon? Hindi. This is a mental disorder again. Let me compare it to a physical disorder. When a person has cancer, you tell them, pray ka lang, mawawala yan. Ganun ba yun? Hindi. The first thing that comes to mind if a person has cancer, they come to you is, who is the best doctor that we can find to cure that cancer? If a person has, let's say, tuberculosis, what's the institution or hospital we can go to or doctor to help you with that? So it is not, again, an organ fails. When somebody has pancreatic cancer, an organ fails. Person dies. Do you blame the person? No. A person gets a heart attack. An organ fails, the heart. Do you blame the person? No. A person takes his life by suicide. There's something wrong with an organ, his brain. It fails. Do people blame these people who take their life? Yes, they do. I see this very often. I see them post. They say, duwag naman yan. Ang hina ng loob niyan. Ano ba yan? Bumagsak na yan sa pag-aaral. Nagpakamatay na. Nung panahon namin, dinodota-dota lang namin yan. Okay na kami eh. Huwag niyong bintangan yung mga katulad namin who try to take our lives or have taken their lives. It's because there's something wrong with our brains. You don't blame the person with the heart attack. Problem with the heart. You don't blame a person with pancreatic cancer. Why do you blame us when our brain is not functioning well? Huwag niyo pong gawin yun. And again, it is not a spiritual crisis. This has nothing to do sa pananampalataya namin. As a matter of fact, in any mental institution or mental hospitals, I should call it, you will not see any religious scriptures. You will not find the Bible of the Catholics. You will not see the Quran of the Muslims. You will not see the Bhagavad Gita of the Hindu or the Tripitaka of the Buddhists. Why? It's because it is not a spiritual crisis. One of the people that I respect the most, are pastors, because pastors are probably one of the most faithful, the most spiritual, prayerful people that I know. But the other year, a pastor, Pastor Jared Wilson, took his life. And normally you will not find the word pastor and suicide in the same sentence. But Pastor Jared Wilson, pastor of a mega church, 15,000 followers, took his life by suicide. Chloe, can you please play the clip?
30-year-old megachurch pastor Jared Wilson has died by suicide. Wilson was an associate pastor at the Harvest Christian Fellowship Church in Riverside, California, which has a congregation of 15,000 for the past 18 months. He was vocal about mental health and his own battle with depression. A statement from the church notes, quote, "He was vibrant, positive, and was always serving and helping others. He wanted to especially help those who were dealing with suicidal thoughts." Wilson is survived by his wife, Julianne, and his sons, Denham and Finch. Julianne Harris posted a tribute to her husband on Instagram, saying he was, quote, "loving, giving, kind-hearted, encouraging, handsome, hilarious, giving the shirt off his back husband." Together, the couple founded an outreach program for people dealing with depression and suicidal ideation called Anthem of Hope. One day before he died, Wilson tweeted that loving Jesus can't always be seen as a cure for mental health issues, before adding, quote, "But that doesn't mean Jesus doesn't offer us companionship and comfort. He always does that."
So take note, these are the words of a pastor, okay, who was suffering from depression and took his life by suicide. He said, loving Jesus can't always be seen as a cure for mental health issues. But, sinunod niya kaagad to. But that doesn't mean that Jesus doesn't offer us companionship and comfort. He always does. So, if you encounter somebody with a mental health problem, but tell them to seek professional help. And by all means, stick to your faith. Whoever you believe in, pray to that person, whether it be God or be Allah. Pray, put it together. If you have a loved one, let's say you are suffering for cancer and they're undergoing treatment, do you tell that person na mahina yung pananampalataya mo kasi nagki-chemotherapy ka? Do you say that? No. Do you tell them na all you have to do is pray? Hindi. You undergo the treatment that is necessary. And then you pray. Hold on to your faith. Talk to God. Talk to Jesus, Allah, whoever that may be. Medication isn't the enemy of faith. It goes hand in hand. So put it together. Instead of telling me na Ari, magdasal ka lang, everything will be fine. Why not tell me na Ari, seek help and I will pray for you? Mas okay pa yun. Pero wag nyo kaming husgahan na kulang kami sa pananampalataya. Chloe, you can skip the next slide on Pastor Ed Statner. Let's proceed to the other myth, na sadness. So the other myth is sadness. People use sadness as a synonym to depression. Parang ganito eh. Let's take for example si Yvette. Nag-away siya ng boyfriend niya. Sabi ni Yvette, "Ay, hindi na kita kakausapin forever." 'Di ba? Ayaw na kita, hiwalay na tayo. And then suddenly Yvette and the boyfriend, they feel depressed. Let's say si Jelly. Jelly, pinagalitan ni Sheila. Jelly, yung trabaho mo kulang. Ano ba yung pinagagawa mo? Suddenly, Jelly feels bad. She goes home. And she feels depressed. And then let's say si Chloe. Chloe posts on Facebook. And then after posting on Facebook, walang nag-like. Ay, depressed ako, walang nag-like. In-unfriend pa. Naku, mas lalo pang lumalim yung depression niya, sabi niya. But what happens to Yvette? Let's say the boyfriend comes, goes to the house, visits Yvette, brings a bouquet of roses. Inamoy ni Yvette. Ay, babe, sige, I forgive you na. Okay na tayo. Instantly, wala na yung sinasabi niyang depression. Si Jelly, pinatawag ni Sheila ulit sa opisina. Jelly, everything will be fine. You learn from your mistake. Let's go forward from here. Suddenly, wala na rin yung depression na sabi niya. Si Chloe, nag-post ulit, it went viral. Diba? Friend siya ulit. Ang dami niyang friends ulit. Suddenly, wala na yung depression niya. Bakit? That is not depression. That is sadness. And sadness is an emotion. And as an emotion, you can snap out of it instantly. That can change. Unlike what we call clinical depression. That is a disease. that is a disorder. That will go on for months, weeks, and even years, and you cannot snap out of it in the same way that you cannot snap out of the cancer or the tuberculosis, or you can just get out of your diabetes. Hindi ganun yun. So iba yung sadness, iba yung clinical depression. The next one is people think that there is a phase to depression. They think parang ganito yung itsura. It's disheveled, magulo yung bahok, may eye bag siya, malungkot, nakasimangot. Pero pwede rin ganito. Yung nakangiti. Diba? Still smiling, pero behind that smile lies the face of somebody who is about to give up on life. People with depression, with mental illnesses, anxiety disorder, let's say, are very good in keeping their emotions. Let's say kasi sa mga lalaki, hindi tinatanggap ng lipunan yung mga lalaki na mahina ang loob, yung mga pusong mamon. Bawal umiyak yung mga lalaki. Dapat strong kami. Be a man, di ba? Kaya mo yan. My advice to the men out there, it's okay to cry. Crying doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more human. That is how we express our emotions. When you feel bad, gentlemen, bring it out. Cry if you must. And trust me, you will feel better. But there are also times when we feel depressed and then pumunta tayo sa barkada natin and then your barkada goes, wow, Ari, napaka-nega mo naman. Ano ba yan? Diba? Or Yvette, your vibes, diba? It's so negative. Nakaka-down ka. Diba? Ano ba yan? Diba? So, what does Yvette do? She pretends everything is okay. She smiles. Pero behind that smile, like I said, is a person who's giving up. We're good at covering our pain and emotions. I'll talk more about that later on.
Thank you so much, Manong Ari, for sharing some of the myths that are famous about depression. Sabi nga ng isa sa mga viewers natin, no, we should be keen observer to our loved ones. Now, if we do want to help those with depression, what can you do naman to help someone who is undergoing this depression?
Okay, the first thing you should do is give them space. Don't smother them. You may know that there's something wrong with them, and then, how are you? What are you doing, diba? What's wrong with you, diba? Wag. Give them space, because more often than not, they want to be alone. And there's a reason why God gave us 2 eyes and a mouth and 1 mouth. Is because we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. When they feel like talking, then you listen. Do not force them. Listen to what they're saying. And when they do talk, do not invalidate what they say. When they say, I really feel bad, don't say, hindi. Okay lang yan. Think positive. When they say, pagod na ako, hindi ka pagod. Diba? Labas tayo. Diba? Inumblat tayo. Do not invalidate. At times when they don't want to talk, then what do? Watch what they're doing or what they're no longer doing. If in the past, they used to enjoy going out, malabas sila, very sociable. Ngayon, nagkukulong na lang sila, that may be a sign. At work, high performers sila. Or in school, high performers sila. Ngayon, they're no longer doing good. That may be a sign, that may be a symptom. But just give them space. Second one, let them know that you're there for them. Tell them, if you need help, feel free to get in touch with me. You can call me, you can text me, I'll be there for you. And when you're there for them, just let them know. If you need someone to talk to, lend them an ear, lend them a shoulder to lean on, perhaps a hand to hold, or even perhaps offer them a hug if they're willing to be hugged. Do not take for granted or underestimate these things. We were once holding a seminar get together for a lot of people, for the group of mental health support group by Kylie Verzosa. We had a lot of members who were there. There was one member who came in late. She came in and I go, hey, glad that you could make it. And she goes, hi, Manong Ari, I can't stay long. I just came here to say hi. And I go, kumusta ka na? How are you doing? Because I knew she was going through troubled times. And sabi niya, nakangiti pa siya. Okay naman ako, Manong Ari. I go, sige, you take it. I have to go, Manong Ari. I go, sige, ingat ka. And then she gave me a hug and then I hugged her back. But I could feel that, parang there was something wrong. So I just hugged her tight. And I go, take care of yourself always. And then umalis siya. 15 minutes later, I get a call from her. And she goes, Manong Ari, actually, I didn't just go there to say hi. Actually, I went there to say goodbye. I was on my way to take my life already. But you made me feel that there's at least one person who cares for me, one person to ask how I am. And the comfort of the hug made me feel better. I gave up the idea of taking my life. I'll go on. And I'm also glad to hear that. So don't take for granted you're being there for your friend, for your loved one, for your children. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you care for them. And this similar, let them know that you're there. Let them know that you feel for them. Because remember, I mentioned about having low self-esteem, like Kylie. Feeling she was not deserving of love, whether that be from, let's say, the boyfriend or from the parents, not from anybody, because they feel like a wreck, they feel like a mess. Another one, let them know that it's not their fault. Wala silang ginawa. Hindi sila pinaparusahan ng Diyos. That's why may pinagdadaanan sila. It's not their fault. They didn't do anything. Just like a person with cancer, you don't tell them, it's because it's your fault. Kaya ayan, may cancer ka. Do you say that? No. So why do you say that to us? Wag naman sana ganun. Let them know that they're not a burden. Na pampabigat sila sa inyo. Like I said, I'm still crawling out of my depressive state, although I'm almost out of it, so I'm able to do this. Just a few weeks ago, my wife, I told her, I really felt so useless. I'm the man of the house. Being the man of the house, you're supposed to support the family. Ikaw yung parang income generator, but I felt useless. But my wife talked to me and said, you're not useless. You're very important to us. You're still helping us in more ways than one. She was very supportive. And you have no idea. It's hard to imagine those words, what they did to make me feel better. Let them know, take your time to feel better. When a person undergoes a bypass operation for the heart, it takes several months to heal. What about the brain? The brain is the most complicated organ in the body. It takes several months to heal. So give yourself time, give it time to rest. Don't say, grabe naman, it's about time you get out of bed. Batugan ka masyado. Start working. Hindi ganon. Give them time. Words of encouragement, tell them to hang in there. Not hang yourself in there, ha? Hindi ganon yun. This sounds better in Tagalog. In the group, we say, kapit lang. Huwag kang bumitaw. These are the words we normally say when the person is chatting with us and you can see desperate na sila. Pagod na talaga ako, hindi ko na kaya, Manong. These are the words that you can offer them. By the way, when they say that, huwag nyo silang konsensyahin. Yung isipin mo, for example, ako, isipin mo na, you have children, you have a wife who loves you. Huwag nyo silang konsensyahin because like I said, our brains are illogical. It doesn't make sense. Iisipin pa ba namin yung mga ibang tao? Yung sarili namin, hindi namin malagaan eh. Other people pa? Don't do that to them. Huwag nyo silang konsensyahin. Let them know that you are not alone. There's always somebody here one of the worst feelings that you can have when you're undergoing this thing is that you're suffering by yourself and that there is no help. But for those of you who have these signs and symptoms, yes, I'm talking to you. Listen, there is help. Andito kami para sa inyo. All you have to do is reach out. We will take you by the hand and help you out. You are not alone.
Ayan, thank you so much, Manong Ari. Tama yan. Really, our presence alone can do so much for our loved ones, no? Presence, time, it doesn't cost us anything materially. Hindi natin kailangan ng maraming pera for us to be able to do that. So, at saka let me share din pala, di ba, sabi nga nila, you can never go wrong with kindness. And the best gift that you can give a stranger is a smile. Di mo alam kung anong magagawa ng smile mo towards a person that you meet randomly on the streets. Maybe that person is going through something, and then your smile brightens up that person's day. So, maraming salamat, Manong Ari, for that. Sabi nyo nga ho, depression is an illness, di ba? And pag sinabi nating illness, may gamot. Pero ito bang depression, meron ba siyang gamot?